Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Pulse here with the PeakBot team and Mark Phillips from Harvested Financial. Gentlemen, how we doing this morning?
Doing good.
Doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing better considering I'm not a New York Giants fan, Ben.
Ooh, taking shots. You could only say that because the Jets were on bye week this week.
Yeah, which is, that's like a win. A bye week for a Jets fan is a win.
You can't lose.
Can't lose. Ben, tough, huh? We thought maybe Tommy Cutlets was our guy.
Listen, he needs a week or two. But at this point, we want to lose,
Yeah.
Full tank mode right now.
You're right. It doesn't make sense to win. Mark, do you have a favorite football team?
I would say to the extent I follow the NFL, I'm a Giants fan, but
Okay.
I'm woefully behind in my NFL knowledge these days.
Me too. I've given up. But Ben, okay. Lose out. Let's get a draft pick. Are you looking for a quarterback?
I think you have to. Cam Ward from Miami looks to be a good target, but
okay.
I've also heard that the Giants want to hold out for Archie Manning next year.
Yeah. Just because he's a Manning, I don't know if he's going to be the best.
Yeah, I think that's
available. It. But anyway, we're not here to talk pro football. We're here to talk stocks and a number of other things. On our show today, we have a great agenda. Of course, we will be doing stocks in real life. Okay. We are going to be talking about Costco today. So hang tight. We're going to share all of our opinions on Costco as a consumer, as well as an investor. Not financial advice from this side of things. We're going to do some PeakBot picks. Ben, we can take a look at how we rounded out on Friday, and a lot more. So stay tuned. We got a great show here today. We'll take a look at some economic calendar and a few other things. So, gentlemen, did I miss anything? Should I shut up and get into it?
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
What do we want to do first? Do we want to quickly fly through PeakBot picks, Ben?
Yeah, let's do that. I'll bring up my screen. We can look at the chart. We can figure out who won, and then we can hop into what everybody wants to talk about is stocks in real life.
Let me ask you a question. If let's say I was to have done the research and I already know who won and what picks are right, do we want to just cut to that, or do we like the anticipation of looking at each pick?
Let's fly through it.
Let's fly. Here we go. We're gonna fly. All right. And Mark, if you have any color commentary on any of these picks, please share. So last week, these were credit spreads that were selected off of our trend spread watch list, selected on the 15th of November, expired last Friday, the 22nd. Okay. So we'll go through mine quickly. I was bearish on J&J, earned $21 in premium, trying to stay below 157.5. Just got away with it. J&J's been popping up a lot. Triple M, bull spread, trying to stay above 128, $57 in premium earned. Just squeaked by again.
Squeak that one out.
Yeah. And then Trusty Steve, Walmart. I don't need to tell you what direction.
We don't even need to.
81. Look at just click on the 5-day.
No, we're supposed to fly through this.
All right, just click on the 5-day. Come on. All right. Ben, you're up. GM, bullish, over 55 to earn 18 in premium. Boring, but it's a win. NVDL, you've played this the last few weeks.
By the way, you can't say boring because you only earned, $16 in premium on J&J?
Yeah, I was going to say, how much was that Walmart? Did you get a couple pennies?
Walmart was $61 in premium through an earnings report. Walmart paid nice last week. J&J was $21 in premium. So you hit on GM. You're on NVDL above 69. Not boring. This paid $260 in premium. Great trade. Well, pick. Trade. Did you trade it?
No.
Okay.
Because
not your style.
NVIDIA was reporting earnings, so
that's why you picked it. You were just betting on a good earnings. Yeah. Your style for investing versus picking this could be different. Whereas mine, I kind of try to line up my theories. You're like night and day.
Yeah.
But it's working right now. Let's see if you can hold it through. SMCI. I don't know if I've seen that one before. SMCI bearish. You were trying to stay below 23 for $66 in premium. That didn't do it.
Nope. That pretty much did the exact opposite of what we
Okay.
needed it to do.
2 for 3 for Ben. 3 for 3, just as a reminder for Dillon over here. Let's see how Thomas did. This kid's been hot. For anybody on the internet who wants to come and challenge us to a game of PeakBot picks for $500, PeakBot merch and a year of automated subscription, you're going up against Thomas. Good luck. Okay, let's see how he did this week. CVX, he had 3 bowls. So all put spreads here. CVX above 157.50. Nailed it.
Good.
That one's been on a nice run since September. Cat, like the animal. Put spread, bullish, 375 for $140 in premium.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I would love Mark's thoughts on this. Does this stock come into your world at all, actually, Mark?
It doesn't often, actually. I know it's pretty liquid. I know it's pretty decent to trade. I personally just don't have a lot of experience with it, though.
Yeah, I mean, nice year they're having here. I can't believe that stock's that expensive, but I guess makes sense. And then he's 2 for 2. McDonald's bullish over 285. I feel like that's a no-brainer. Although wrong on the trend, right on the trade. That's fun. Maybe. I don't know.
Love that.
Yeah, maybe on the 5-day.
Yeah, looks pretty wrong on the trend, but you can be wrong and still win when selling options. All right, so we've got you and Thomas at 3 for 3 each.
I got to come up with the premium calculation.
The tiebreaker is now based on premium, not rock, paper, scissors anymore.
It's Thomas, unfortunately. It's not even – I don't have to do the math. Yeah. Thomas put $140 in his pocket on that Caterpillar put spread, and then $60 from each of his other 2. I was pretty boring with my J&J and Walmart and Triple M.
Man.
So Thomas is going to take home the cake. Doug, happy new week. Happy new week to you.
Now, is it absolute premium collection or is it risk-adjusted premium collection?
So go ahead.
Absolutely.
Like how much margin are you risking, right? Like I bet you put a lot less on the table than Thomas.
Yeah, right. We're just looking at, the watch list and what it's paying, not necessarily associating the risk or the ROI, just premium.
That's half the reason I went with NVDL and SCMI this week, because they were paying out crazy premiums.
Yeah.
So, but it didn't work out because I lost one.
Exactly. And I feel going 3 for 3 anymore doesn't feel like that's going to do it. Right. I mean, it's going to come down to premium. I feel like we're likely to somebody's going to go 3 for 3. All right. So that's PeakBot picks. I'm going to get that updated. It's going to be posted as soon as we get off of the show here with updated win rates. I think Thomas is now 24 for 27
Wow.
On these
Somebody
picks.
should hire this kid.
What's that?
I said somebody should hire this kid.
Somebody should hire this kid.
I'm just kidding. He's all ours.
Yeah, please don't. So, and yeah, Ben, you're coming in around, you were close to 80%. And then I was closer to 70, unfortunately. But I think that's how the people expected that would go. Let's move past it. Stocks in real life.
All right, let's get into stocks in real life. Costco is this week's stock in real life. Costco doesn't have a slogan, but they do have a company value, which is do the right thing.
Like keeping hot dogs at $1.50?
I had to throw that in there.
I got that dog in me. I was really hoping you were going to say is their unofficial slogan.
That should be. That's
the slogan of the people.
Man. So great stock, I think, to talk about here. So surprising that they don't really have a slogan. I guess if you're good enough, do you need one? Right? I mean, I don't know your guys' thoughts on Costco. I'll get my opinion out there and then I'll shut up. For me, we came from like a normally, I guess, we didn't never really need to shop at Costco is kind of what I was getting at. Like the surplus that and the volume that is, needed at Costco, I never really needed it too much. I go to Costco for my plastic goods. So everybody knows this is coming. This is a Kirkland. I don't know if I can't call it a solo cup. I don't know what I would call it. A Kirkland red cup from Costco. Paper towels, all that stuff. Every 2 weeks, I need my Costco
Paper
picked up,
products.
or my house is useless.
Papers and plastics.
Papers and plastics, paper plates, paper bowls, plastic cutlery, all of the things. Anyway, I'm already talking too much. What are your guys' thoughts on Costco?
So I feel like that idea of them being all about bulk is kind of like antiquated. Like that was Costco of 20 years ago. Like you went there only to buy in bulk. It was massive jars of tomato sauce. It was like, it was awkward to purchase there because like who needs like 64 ounces of mayonnaise? Whereas I think they've like moved beyond that to actually just being, and they're still leveraging that for sure. Like you can get 150 cinnamon rolls for $10 or like whatever you need.
Yeah.
Like, but they're more about like the auto discounts, the jewelry. They have like fine, you can buy $3,000 bottles of Haute Briand there. That they've like really moved into like different value provision beyond just bulk. That's probably why stock's up 50% in the last year.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we should look at the chart.
You could buy all-inclusive vacations with Costco. Like they've got vacations you can buy.
They're starting to they're selling Formula One tickets now. I'm a big Formula One fan. I see tickets for 2 races at Costco, which is wild. Let's look at the stock. Okay.
I recently learned from I've got some parents friends that are getting to that hearing aid age.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the biggest hacks for medical devices, stuff that's not on insurance, like a hearing aid typically isn't covered by that, but the Costco membership makes it worth it for that alone. So once you hit hearing aid time, Costco is like, that's like the hack for all the medical devices that aren't covered.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
What about their gas? First of all, Ben, you got your Super Walmart? I don't know if you're doing a Costco run.
I go to Costco maybe once a year.
Okay.
My biggest experience with Costco is finding Kirkland golf balls in the woods at the course.
That's good. I think that actually, let me ask Mark. Mark, do you have before we get into the stock, let's just knock a couple other things out. Do you have a favorite product at Costco? Is it a food? Like I have one specific food at Costco that is so good that I can't get anywhere else. Do you have one?
Other than the hot dog?
Other than the hot dog.
I would actually say the thing in their food department that impresses me the most is their wine. And their Kirkland label wine is impressively good considering like great quality to price ratio. That for the amount you're paying, you're getting a very decent bottle of juice.
So the Kirkland stuff is kind of wild, right? I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm sure you did. You guys are smart people. When I was getting married a few years ago, right, and we're stocking the bar for this wedding, and my parents are helping out there. The place we did was like bring your own stuff. So Costco is where we bought all of our booze. And instead of Tito's, we got Kirkland vodka, which, by the way, don't quote me on this, I believe it is the #1 selling vodka, as well as like other things in the whole country. No, I don't know if there's a vodka that is sold more than Kirkland brand vodka, which is out, and there's other Kirkland things like that, which is outrageous. Does one or who is Kirkland its own entity? Kirkland's not a stock, right?
No, it's owned by Costco.
It is owned by Costco.
Brand, it's a Costco brand, yeah.
No wonder their stocks.
I remember many years ago at a bachelor party, we did go to Costco to load up, and I saw the largest. This is actually where I learned the different names for the sizes of bottles of wine. They were selling Jeroboams of wine. And then there was a Nebuchadnezzar bottle of wine. So, Mark, you're the wine expert here. How many liters is a Nebuchadnezzar?
So it starts with like a regular bottle,
and
then a Magnum is a 1.5. I believe a Jeroboam is a 3 liter. And then a Nebuchadnezzar is either 6 or 9. There might be one there. I think there's a Salmanazar in the middle.
There's a Methuselah, Salmanazar, Balthazar, and then Nebuchadnezzar.
Okay. I need to say
Nebuchadnezzar's 9 liters.
I don't have the. Oh wait, let me find it.
Expand the list, Ben. Please show more.
18
Or
liters.
Nebuchadnezzar's 18. Wow.
These
So that's
are-
24 bottles of regular wine.
These are, those sound like Pokemon. Those are all names of next generation Pokemon. All these Nebuchadnezzar and whatever the hell else you guys just said. That is too funny. I've never heard those words before.
Let me, I'll pull up a picture so everybody can see it.
Did I say it right? A Nebuchadnezzar?
Yeah.
Is that what he's holding right there? Is that a Nebuchadnezzar?
Yeah.
This is the happiest man in the world. What's he holding? What's he holding there, Mark? Anything of note?
Veuve Clicquot, yeah. And like an older bottle.
Okay. Take us to school on wine with it. Can we do a wine? Do we have any wine stocks we can do after today? So your wine, you're really impressed with their wine. I got to get in there. Just really quick, they have ciabatta rolls that are to die for. I keep and it is a volume play, Mark. I would love to get 4 to 6 of them. I can't. I'm getting 12 to 18, unfortunately. But anyway,
I think their baked goods are pretty good. Like I think they actually do a solid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I heard don't buy your eggs from Costco. Don't know why, but my dad always says that. He goes, "Don't buy your eggs from eggs or milk. Don't buy it from Costco." Anyway, this stuff is outrageous.
Costco had a pretty good year. I mean, we're up from a low of 582 all the way to we're 969 pre-market. I wonder if they've got a stock split in mind in the future. That could be interesting, and that could bring that back onto the radar of many PeakBot traders if they do split that stock up. But hey, I mean, overall, over the course of the whole year, what is that, up 80%?
That's outrageous.
Can't really argue with that.
How many stocks are this expensive? I mean, there's got to be an elite club above 1,000, right?
Yeah, not that many.
This is ridiculous.
But the thing that does make it good to trade is the strike listings are pretty granular, right? Like in the front month, we've got $5, we got some 250s in there, which like considering it's $1,000 stock, that's better strike listings than many $10 names.
Yeah. I actually, Ben, you have the chain pulled up. I was going to say I have it on the watch list. It's a $15 spread selling the 30 Delta right now.
What's the estimated premium on that?
So premium earned is $155 on a $15 spread. So your ROI there is just over 10%. And the strike, this is data from Friday, but bullish, the put spread would have been sold at $950. What's it at right now?
Pre-market we're 969.
Yeah. So I mean, very for a sizable account, for a sizable, I don't know, if you got 20 grand, 25 grand in an account, trading it on trend spread is something that I might have interest in doing at some point. Technical issues, Ben?
Uh-oh.
Oh God, what are you trying to pull up? I can help you.
I was just trying to go back to the chart.
Oh, okay.
And the implied vol is pretty reasonable, right? Like we're in the, I think I see a low last year in like the 15s, spikes into earnings at like 32, but like we're pretty consistent in like the 22, 23 implied vol range. Like, it's a little beefier than SPY, but like nothing crazy. I mean, like these, and the range of that vol isn't wild either. So, that makes it a pretty consistent name to trade overall.
Do you think that there's like a mental block at 1,000 for investors when you get to that price? Is that like a unspoken, like there's no way, or this thing's just plowing? I mean, I don't know. I might have to take a closer look at Costco. I
don't think it's as severe as like say the 100K wall in Bitcoin. That is like like I generally believe in like the psychological round numbers so I think there's probably something to it. I see that more in like names that are more memeable, right? Like GameStop's going to have a much higher sell wall or a much more resilient sell wall at a round number than say a Costco or Walmart.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right.
The greater population that is, speculative trading, like generally, more euphoria around the name, like those are going to matter more than in a grocer, say.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't believe the stock would cost that much. That chart, that 1 year chart, that almost looks better than Walmart.
Yeah.
I
think it's pretty comparable because Walmart is also up that much this year.
Yeah,
Start this year, I think.
What's that?
I think Walmart's up like 60% this year,
Yeah.
58, 59, 60%.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So great year for those two, which is awesome. Which also, when you think about your portfolio as a whole, I know we're here talking about automation and selling option spreads and all that. It is important to diversify, not financial advice, right? But most people have a good portion of their portfolios in long equities positions. So if you were trading Walmart all year, I don't know that selling options would have gotten you the same types of gains that buying and holding all year would have. There's a lot of factors in play there, but Dillon, we kind of saw that with Carvana, right? We made a ton of money off of trading Carvana. However, if you bought and held the stock, you probably would have made just as much, if not more. The real advantage we give ourselves option selling is we have protection from downside, from severe downside. And I don't know about you, but I always like to take that type of protection.
Yeah, you mentioned Walmart buying and holding versus selling options. Unless you're selling like at the money, and you're collecting a pretty hefty premium and you're doing this with, the buy and hold may have been more lucrative there. But any other thoughts on Costco here before we move out of stocks in real life? Mark, anything else?
No, the only other thing I'd add, like I mentioned, sort of the overall implied volatilities levels are solid there, but like the VRP is also solid too, right? Like that in general, it is moving less than expected, and like a slow grind up of a year like this is obviously awesome, because vol tends to be going down as you're selling options, but we're seeing, I see the average over the last year or 2 years, maybe of the VRP is like 4 or 5%, which is pretty good. Like that's really double what you get in SPY, for example, or SPX. So, there is decent risk premium to those options and consistent also. So between the strike listings, like, if you can express a directional or, the fundamental thesis with this, like it is a good stock to trade.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome. All right. Let's keep moving here. And we're going to move into a segment that we just started last week where we learned about Delta. This week, we're going to be taking a look into Beta. So I've got some slides here. Mark, do you want to talk through Beta, or you want to go back and forth? You tell me what you want to do.
Yeah, we can kind of tag team this one. I think even though Beta comes second after Alpha, like in many ways, I picture Beta as coming first if I'm drawing like a pyramid of market returns, right? Like at the bottom, I think of Beta as what the overall market is doing or what the overall asset class is doing. So, if you're invested just broadly, highly diversified, you're going to capture the beta of what real estate does, what equities do, what crypto does, that's the average return of the market and that asset class generally. And so different stocks, obviously, you like put together a diversified basket, that's all the average, but how any of those given stocks relate to that average is going to depend, right? So like you can be more volatile than the market, you can be less volatile than the market, you can be volatile in the opposite direction of the market, which is of course the golden goose. And I think where people mostly try and think about beta is not just as that like overall average of what the markets or what that asset class is going to do, but how any individual name might compare to that average and how to construct a portfolio that has potentially diversification benefits from negative beta and, owning securities within that group that are going to diversify each other.
It is interesting, and this is something that we teach in our masterclass to anybody that joins the masterclass. We do spend a good chunk of time on beta, And we haven't experienced it in a decent amount of time, thankfully, but in a truly bearish market, it's that those aren't the best conditions to trade the wheel strategy. But if you're seeking out stocks with a negative beta, which means an opposite correlation to the overall market, those would be the target stocks. Those are the stocks that I would target in that time period, because again, with the wheel strategy, you're looking for bullish to neutral movement. If the market's moving down and you've got a positive beta stock, then that's likely going to move down with the market. Not to say that things can't reverse, and that's always the case, right? But in a truly bearish market, if you're trading tickers with negative beta, you're giving yourself a better opportunity to be in a bullish / neutral strategy and take home the win at expiration. So it is a very useful tool, and I like to look at the 1 year beta and then look at the 5 year beta, and just to see if there's any sort of adjustments there. If there's a wild difference, then I might second guess on how much I can trust the beta. But if you're looking at Apple, and that's usually what I look at when I'm teaching the master class, the 5 year beta is something like 1.2, and then the 1 year beta is something like 0.99, something like that. So it's pretty correlated. It's pretty consistent over time. But the measure of beta, important to know when you are looking at beta, and I'll pull up TradingView real quick, actually, just to show people where you could find beta. So if you've got a ticker pulled up on your chart, you can just scroll over to the right side here, and at the bottom right where you've got all this company information where it says key stats, click on that drop down, and then bam, you've got the 1 year beta right there. So I've got GE on chart right now. The 1 year beta is a 1.24. So essentially what that's saying in the context of what we're trying to learn here is for every percentage point the market moves, GE will potentially move 1.24% proportionally, right? So that's how the relationship of beta works. It's not just a scale of 0 to 1, and it's not just a scale of -1 to 1. It could go over 1. For example, and we've got an example of in beta in action over here, a stock with beta 1.5. If the market rises 10%, that stock might rise 15%. So you can kind of see the relationship there. So it is interesting to look at.
We have a question. I just want to put it on screen here for you guys. Doug says, is there a standard time frame that beta is calculated on? You mentioned 1 year or 5 year, for example.
I don't know that there's a standard. Maybe Mark, you would know if there's a standard. I personally prefer to look at the year and confirm it with the 5 year. But Mark, what are your preferences?
Yeah, I think that's generally true. It depends on. I think this is one of those things that you need a longer time frame to get an idea. A 30-day beta, you can see a lot of zigs and zags and individual prices. So, to think about this sort of correlation or relationship, you definitely want a decently longer, sample period.
Mm-hmm.
Just figured to throw this up. Also backward looking too, right? Like historical volatility.
Correct. I think that's a really important point here, right? We're describing what has happened in the past, and that's not necessarily indicative of what the future is going to hold. But it's informative, right? I think the more liquid of a name that you are trading, the more value you can put in that beta. I think if you're looking at, say crypto names recently, they're zagging very differently than the rest of the market, even though their long-term beta might be different, or, the betas can change over time too. So it's important to keep that historical context in. So that's a really good point.
Ben, correct me if I'm wrong. We're thinking about moving this on to the watch list as a data point soon.
We are. Yeah.
We're working on getting beta as a filter, or essentially something you can search for on our watch list. So keep an eye out for that. It's coming soon.
Yep. Mark, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on a high beta. So I'm going to bring up Marathon, for example, right? And when we look at Marathon's beta, we've got a 3.02 1 year beta on Marathon. So just for the reason why I'm asking the question is if I see a really high beta above 1 like that, that's kind of indicating to me that this is a riskier play. Assuming you don't see all of the other flashing lights in front of you and risk signals, and if you ignore all that, like that's what it's indicating to me. But I don't know. Do you feel the same way about that?
To be honest, I tend to use like implied volatility more than beta for something like this. Like in many ways, it's expressing the same thing, right? Beta is kind of a similar transformation to say historical volatility. And so I tend to use like IV and HV more like in options language to describe these. But I think more where I would use beta is in like overall portfolio construction. So like as a risk metric, I'm inclined to use like implied historical vols. And in like building a portfolio, I might be looking for, beta values there.
Awesome.
Excellent. And I think one of the things about beta is, and this sort of gets into that historical point, is that it's really hard to find truly like uncorrelated assets and assets that will be uncorrelated in the future. Like in some ways that's like, well, it's a noble idea. And from like a portfolio construction theory, like that would be great, like own your gold and own your bonds that are going to offset your equities. And like that works in theory. But my experience is always that if you're invested in a market, like, and that market goes down, everything's going down with it. And that in times of, crisis, things tend to, be increasingly correlated. So I think when you're using, like, while it's still a useful tool to think about how to manage that, I wouldn't let it set your expectations that you have built a robust and diversified portfolio. Because if you're owning equities and equities go down, like that beta is going to drag any alpha that you have overall. So it's important to understand the big risks of the market, and that just using beta to manage that portfolio and diversify that portfolio doesn't obviate that risk entirely.
Very, very important to note that. Awesome. I'll appreciate the interaction that we got from this segment. I hope it was helpful for everybody to learn a little bit about beta, because I do believe it should be factored in your decision-making process. So last week we learned about delta, which was a great segment. If you guys missed that, you can go on our YouTube channel or on the Tradier Hub, and you can see the conversation about delta, quick 10-minute conversation. This week was about beta. Next week, who knows what we'll be talking about? You'll have to tune in and find out. It looks like we do have one more question, which, Mark, I'll kick to you. And then let's keep this train moving here. So a question from Doug. Thank you, Doug. Is beta always calculated against S&P 500, or would NASDAQ stock calculate against that index?
It's a really good question, and it's a really good question about benchmarks in general. And I think typically the default is going to be against the S&P 500, regardless of what that stock is. But there's no reason to not consider that against, say the NASDAQ. Understanding what your benchmark is like an important part of like kind of strategy calibration and adjustment. So like, could you absolutely say, Apple's beta to NASDAQ might only be 1, but it's 1.2 to say the SPX? Like that in and of itself is informative. But I think, generally the industry standard is almost always to go against S&P 500.
I'm not sure what TradingView's benchmark is. I would assume S&P 500 is probably the most popular, but I'm not sure. But yes, it could be a benchmark against different baskets, if you will.
By the way,
yeah,
as you guys were bit nerding out on the beta, I did a little bit of research. I was just curious to know, with Costco being so close to $1,000, really quick, I'm going to throw up some spontaneous last-second trader trivia. I'm not saying we need to, give away any prizes. Maybe we do. But here's my question for the group, and this is for you guys too. I have TradingView up with the top 100 most expensive stocks right now. Do you guys have any guess on how many stocks are currently trading above $1,000 per share? Note that Costco is the closest to 1,000 without cracking it right now. How many above 1,000 a share? You guys have any guesses?
This is out of the universe of 5,000 stocks.
I believe so. Yeah. Here, what you know what I'll do? I'll share my screen quickly. It won't give away.
This would be good trader trivia.
Well,
This would be a
I
good trade.
said maybe let's do it. I'm on Trading View. Okay, so if we pull this up, U.S. stocks, and I have the U.S. stocks with the highest price. Okay, so here's the top three: Berkshire Hathaway, MVR, Booking. Okay, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. All right.
I would guess like 3 to 5% of the available companies are over 1,000.
Hey, why don't
I was
you
going to
go
go
ahead
way
and give
lower.
me
I
a
was going to say
number?
like 0.5%, like 25.
Really? So
How about numbers, guys? I don't have the percentages. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to
25
guess
to 40 names is what I'm saying.
I'm going to guess
25 being
200. I'm going to guess 200.
Okay. The answer is 18. Okay.
Wow.
So we have Berkshire, MVR, Booking, AutoZone at over $3,000. Sure, what am I missing? How could that be? Okay. Then we come all the way down here. We see Coca-Cola Consolidated. BlackRock is the currently just above the cut line here. Costco is the 19th most expensive stock there is, at least for U.S. stocks right now, according to TradingView, which I think is a pretty reliable source. So yeah, Mark, you weren't far off. 18, you get 25 at the low end. So yeah, that's an interesting stat. But by the way, I think we might need to do AutoZone next week for stocks in real life. How in the world is that stock trading above $3,000? Who do they own? Everyone? That's outrageous.
Well, it just depends on what the overall market cap and shares issued are.
Oh, I don't care. That's insane.
These options are wide. No wonder I've never heard about this.
For who? AutoZone?
For AutoZone. But I mean, like on a price-adjusted basis, $5 in a $3,000 name is
share your screen, Mark. Share your screen.
$1 in a $600 name was 20 cents in a $100 name. So actually, implied vol-wise, they're not ridiculous. But
did you have anything you want on screen that you wanted to share on that? If not, no worries. Just figured to ask.
No.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, I'm going to be pulling up the chart here now. But anyway, cool little fun fact. What else do we want to cover, guys? What else do we got?
Do we want to take a look at the economic calendar this week, or do we want to skip that? I guess we could cover it real quick, and then we can talk about our thoughts for model portfolio. Dillon, I don't know if you're going to be setting up your portfolio this morning. I probably will, and probably will go live around 10 a.m. just to set up some of my portfolio. But let me go ahead and share screen real quick. We'll just fly through some of these economic events for this week. So we are taking a look at this week, and it looks like we've got just filtered for high importance events. We got FOMC minutes tomorrow. It looks like, actually, I think I need to take a look at that because I don't know if that was always scheduled for tomorrow. We've got quite a bit of data being released pre-market on Wednesday, and nothing really happened in Thursday with Thanksgiving, and then Friday, Black Friday. We've got nothing scheduled. So it's really FOMC minutes tomorrow, which that's coming out.
I'm making you a note, Ben. I'm giving you a note to check on that.
Yes, thank you. I will, because that would mean that our zero DTE strategy with our premium partner Max is going to be inactive tomorrow due to FOMC minutes. I don't know that. The only thing that scares me about Wednesday is a day, not necessarily closing a short week. We've got a half day on Friday, but there could be some non-anticipated activity. And as it relates to iron condors, maybe better just to sit it out. But that's just my opinion there. I don't know what you guys think.
Mark, you got any thoughts on moving into this week?
This is gonna keep sounding boring, but I think for the most part, I keep condoring on. I
need that shirt.
Yeah, I like. At the end of the day, I find the times that I want to make an exception should be a fraction of the time. The times that I actually make an exception should be a fraction of the times I want to. and that, like, you know, more often than not, you just want to stay in. And sure, there are going to be licks, like, you know, like not every condor every single day is going to be a win, but you've got to make money in these placid markets to account for when it really chops. And I just don't think this rises to the level of me being too scared to collect the premium.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
I'll tell you this. Ever since Mark came on this show and started raving about the Condor, okay, my eyes were opened, right? I'm a wheel guy till I die. Put that on a shirt. But Iron Condor has been responsible for so much of my account success for the last few months. It is just the way we have it set up with PeakBot. It is so efficient while still maintaining a nice win rate around 75% because we're straddling the 25 delta, $1 spread. Risking $100 minus the premium earned, which is typically between 30 and 40 on average, you guys would say. Trades every day. Okay. I mean, not fun when they get struck when you string a couple losses together, but like doesn't happen all that often. I'm speculating now, but the point is, for me, it's been really strong. I'm running probably 5 condors every day on SPY, QQQ, and IWM. I've seen a lot of our traders mess around with the NDX. I haven't played NDX yet because of the spread, just the wider spread. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. For me, week to week, look, I'm keeping things the same for my wheel. I'm wheeling Walmart and Bank of America. I'm getting close to being able to wheeling another stock here soon. Okay, my account's coming up on 20K. I'm allocating about 17K a week right now. So Walmart and Bank of America are going to stay steady. This is where I really make changes week to week. And I would make changes for this bot on a Thursday night or a Friday morning because everything for trend spread happens on Friday because we're rolling contracts, opening new ones. So I didn't get the chance to change them this week though. But as you can see, I took a couple of the PeakBot picks trades, J&J, M&M, which I both think worked out. Right now in this account, I have 2 condors on SPY, QQQ, and IWM, but I might open that up a little bit this week. So not much is changing for me, but I'll take a look at trend spread later probably later today and make some. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm too busy. That's why I use PeakBot.
I agree with
And if
you.
you're even too busy for that, you can come over to Harvested Financial where I manage the account.
Yes, let's get that on screen. Damn. All right, hold on. Use peakbot.com/harvested if you want a professionally managed portfolio. Mark uses PeakBot strategies to execute trades while also manually overseeing your account, man and machine. Okay, accounts as low as $10,000. You just pay your normal, fees as you would to a registered investment advisor like Mark. Okay. Mark, we got a couple people up and running here.
We do. Where clients are firing away. I think, on average, I've got about 7 or 8 different stocks in any given portfolio. It depends on the risk tolerance and the size of the account. But yeah, we're trading between, call it 7 and 10 different stocks. Between those, between the Condor, between the wheels, between trend, these portfolios are making 20 trades a week, and it's totally hands-free for the client. After that initial setup, really we just take the wheel and let the bots do their work while we allocate them to the spots that seem to have the most opportunity.
It's amazing. We've been raving about this. It's been going very well for the first few who are up and running. Wait list. Okay. There's a wait list. As we mentioned, every time we talk about this, we're taking on about 10, 15 clients at a time until we smooth out the process a little bit, and then we'll be able to ramp those numbers up a little bit. But just go to usepeakbot.com/harvested, get down to this section of the site here, get started, enter your information. Very simple. You'll join the wait list. And if you want to jump that wait list, which Ben was getting ready to say if I didn't say it, make a referral, introduce a friend, get them on the wait list as well, and you'll both jump on up that list. Okay. So again, use peakbot.com/harvested. There's a fun video here breaking down the service in a British accent, which Ben refuses to change. But
you
anyway,
gotta have that. And quick note too, and it's going to take us a few weeks to get used to this. While the use peakbot.com link will still work, PeakBot has acquired peakbot.com. So we're stepping up here, guys.
Well,
Moving from use PeakBot to PeakBot.com.
Don't ask us how much we're paying for it.
But
I'll update the link. You're right. It works.
All links will be peakbot.com/ wherever we're sending you. But use peakbot.com will still work for the time being.
Excellent. Great catch there.
Cool.
Mark, any comments on this or anything else here?
No, I just say take a look at this link. There's a bunch of FAQs there, but then there's a contact form too. So if you're on the fence, if you're wondering about, what this looks like, I'm happy to discuss in more detail what the strategies are. We can talk about individual objectives and everything. That's why I'm a registered advisor. So I'm here to talk about, how to allocate and build a portfolio that's designed specifically for you as the client. So go ahead and get started here. Reach out to me via the contact. You can also contact me at peakbot@harvestedfinancial.com. So if you have any questions about this offering, I'd love to talk more about it because it's by far the most exciting thing I've done in options in a while. So this is great.
You're making me blush. But it's true. We feel the same way. Excellent. All right. Well, Ben, was there anything else we wanted to Ben and Mark close out on here?
No, I think we've got less than 15 minutes at the bell. So I think let's wrap it up. Let's let people get on with their day. And for those that are actively trading at the bell, let's let them get to it.
Excellent. Well, great show, fellas. 750 viewers here this morning. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and participating. Doug Sarbone, you have a good trading week. You have a great trading week. And we'll be back Friday. Myself, Ben, Thomas, for the new and rebranded The Automation Station. Okay.
Ooh.
So join us Friday. Mark, how has that not been used by now, right?
I love that. I love a good little rhyme.
Do you love it?
I do.
So that makes me really happy. Ben, I was about to play the thing, but we haven't loaded it up into this StreamYard here. We'll get it going Friday. But I made an intro, Mark. There's a little bit of John Cena music type feel in the background. Really gets you going. But anyway.
I've got it. I just uploaded it. Do we want to see it real quick?
The best part of it is just throwing it on when you're not expecting it, kind of like the John Cena thing. So I'm hoping. If that doesn't get you jazzed up on a Monday morning.
The Automation Station on the Tradier Hub. What a combo.
Thank you so much for getting that in there, Ben. We needed that today. We'll be back Friday, 11:55 a.m. for some hands-free trading on the Automation Station. Mark, thank you so much for joining us again this morning. And as always, we'll see you at the peak. Take care, everybody.
See you at the
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.